Hey guys, good morning. I asked everyone who had their own team page this morning because I wanted to talk to you guys about a couple of things. And one of them is duplicating leadership. I talked to Amanda about this last month a little bit. I don't know if you guys remember the day that she said that she did 53 ways. And that is amazing for someone to do 53 ways. But and although I commend her for doing that, I think that if she continues on a path like that, she's going to be exhausted and not really any good use to anybody else. So, as a general rule, once you get to a gold ambassador, you want to start your own team page. And there's a couple reasons for this. Number one is that it's a much smaller atmosphere, so it's a lot more personal. You have just yourself and your smaller team there, and so those people signed up in this business because of you usually. So they're following you and what you're doing. They trust you, and it gives a safer environment for people to post, maybe something that they're struggling with or having a hard time with, or for you to be able to reach out and tell your team specifically, certain pieces of information. When you look at your back office, if you see that maybe your team is struggling with sales, then you can do some training with them on sales. Or if you see that, someone signed 7 people last month and none of them are silver, then maybe they're having an issue with duplication and knowing how to teach and train their people to go out and sponsor people or whatever. It's a much more intimate atmosphere, and it's going to benefit you in the long run. Also, Amanda is not going to be able to teach and train all of your people for very much longer. I mean, she is, and I'm not saying that she is teaching and training everybody, but I know that there's several leaders on this page that don't have team pages that they're consistently training on. We talked to a girl this morning who has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 gold and above her, and no one's reached out to her, and she wants to go all the way. So somewhere, somehow, some gaps are missing. So I just wanted to talk to you guys too about the importance of duplicating leadership. So once you get to gold, get your own team page. Some people decide to partner up with other people, and that's totally fine. I mean, Tanya and I started our team page together when we were silver because we didn't have a team page to be on. And it's worked out pretty well for us. At times it isn't the best because she wants to talk to specifically her team and give them some guidance or tips or something, and she has to specify, well, this is for my Wisconsin team, this doesn't apply to Erin's team or whatever. So as you guys promote and get up further, it could just giving you a heads up, it could make some situations like that not as great as they could be if you had your own personal page. The other thing that I want to tell you about having your own team page is not only does it allow you to teach and train your people better and create that duplication, is that in the long run, when you promote and you are growing through the business, you want your team really to follow the processes that you have in place as far as your leadership style. Some of you are going to lead more directly. Some of you are going to lead, with a more laid back pace or whatever. Everyone kind of develops their own leadership style. And so when you have your own page, you can implement that style with your team and create your culture and all that kind of stuff. And it doesn't leave your team susceptible to things that maybe you don't want them exposed to. And so I know a lot of you weren't here when this happened, and maybe some of you were, or you were just new, but a really good example of that is last summer, someone in our direct upline who was a very high-ranking ambassador had a lot of people on their page, like 10,000 people in their group pages, and people from other teams, and she was someone that a lot of people entrusted their teams with and talked to their teams like that person was someone to follow. And really edified them and created this culture of, you know, them being superior in our business, instead of them taking the information that she posted, learning it themselves, and then teaching it to their people, they left their team open. And what happened was that person decided one day to leave Plexus and go to another company. And what happened was a lot of devastation across a lot of different teams in the business, because a lot of people's ambassadors followed them. So I'm not saying that's going to happen again. I mean, that was just a situation that was unbelievable in our company, but it does happen. And so the biggest thing I can say to you guys, and I can stress that it's so important that you work on your leadership skills and become a leader of your team, is because you want to be the person teaching your team. You want to be the person that your team follows, so that you can, you know, instill like ethical behaviors or positivity. Or if you're, I know we have a lot of Christian people here, so some people like to really lead with prayer or pray over their teams, or, you know, have that sort of an influence on your team. And that is 100% acceptable and wonderful for a lot of you people to do. And I just want everyone to understand that it is really important, because what will happen is, if we don't get the leadership side duplicated on this team, eventually it's going to get so big and out of control that teams will start falling apart, because they're not fully trained, or that leadership role isn't being passed down through the levels. And so you're not creating leaders, which is what we really want to do in this business. Everyone, you want to create other leaders underneath of you, so that they can go off and do, you know, their things. Eventually Amanda and Mary and probably some of you are going to be emeralds, and you're going to have your team pages, and your people are going to follow you, and they're not going to follow me, because you're their leader, you're their emerald, and that's good. That's what we want. I want all of you to become strong leaders and independent leaders and have your teams. And of course, I want to love on them and give them support and everything, but, you know, I would be doing you a disservice if I wasn't teaching you how to be a leader. And so I just wanted to stop in today. If anyone has questions about creating a team page, or developing their leadership skills, or how to go about this, or how to develop leaders underneath of you, please get with me or get with Tanya. We have some great books that we can recommend for you to read, or you know, some different networking people that you can follow. John Maxwell is amazing. He does a Minute with Maxwell every morning, little video that you can watch, who gives some great tips. He has great books to read. There's a lot of awesome material out there on, you know, developing your leadership skills. So I just wanted to touch base this morning and talk to you guys about that. Again, if you have questions, please get with me, get with Amanda, Tanya, or whoever, on how to start developing the leadership skills and creating your team pages and all that stuff. Otherwise, I hope you have an awesome month. I know there's some awesome promotions coming out of here, and I will talk to you soon.